In the last video, I actually talked about a student who fell into an unfortunate situation, right? And I believe that most students who actually come to France and unfortunately fall into such challenging situations is because of decisions they made even before coming to France. Today, I'm also going to talk about another student who unfortunately fell into a very challenging situation when he first came to France. And the reason why students actually fall into these situations can be boiled down to one of two reasons. First, they blindly believe their consultants who have not lived, worked, or even studied in France. And second, they completely don't understand the procedures and processes that come with studying in France. My name is Gaurav and I'm actually a professor, a lecturer, whatever you want to call it, at a lot of business schools based in France. And I've been actually living in France since 2014. Today's video, which I'm making, is actually part of the series which I'm currently working on, which I would like to call it as the Pre-Departure 2020 series. Although it's a bit late, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be always very useful to all of you applying to study in France. The goal of the series is very simple. It is to actually share my experiences of myself or with other international students or Indian students who have approached me in the last 2 years, and share these experiences with you so that it can save you a lot of time, pain, save you a lot of money also at the same time, and obviously it will take off a lot of stress that comes with applying to France or throughout the whole study in France procedures. Back in 2018, I was actually teaching at the Kedge Business School in Bordeaux, and during class I was getting a lot of messages. I was getting a lot of calls, and when I looked at it, it was this one student who had approached me, who had spoken to me even before coming to France, and he was messaging me and just an absurd amount of messages and calls during my lecture. Once my lecture actually got over, I messaged him and I asked him, "What's up, bro? Like, how can I help? I was busy, I was in class." And he was just literally like all over the place. Like, he was just losing his mind. So he was like, "Bro, I'm losing it. Something very unfortunate happened to me. I just came into France and, there's no one to help me. Will you help me? I tried everything I could," and so on and so forth. Now I asked him what happened, and he told me the most interesting thing. He said that, "Bro, I actually got denied my OFI. So I actually have to go back home right now or in a few months, and I don't know what to do." Now, it was very interesting for me to hear this because there are two things which are actually assured for every international, or let me say that every Indian student that first comes to study in France. First is the OFI. I've never heard of anyone get rejected for the OFI, and probably you also, whoever is studying in France right now, would have never heard anyone getting rejected for the OFI. It's the one thing which is assured for you. If you don't know what the OFI is like the residence permit the government gives you within the first 3 months, which allows you to stay more than 3 months and which can be renewed at the end of the year. The second thing which is actually assured to every international student or Indian student is the APS, right? The work search permit once you finish, which you can apply for once you finish your studies. Now, when I was applying for my APS, I used to make this joke in my head where there was like a 99.9% success rate for applying for the APS, and you will eventually get the APS. And I used to have this weird thought in my mind where I might be the 0.1%, and eventually I happened to be the 0.1%. So in this case, I was not very surprised. I was surprised, and it was interesting, but I was also not surprised because I had already faced my APS situation by then. And this kid came and said he could not get his OFI. My question is, how does something like this happen? Like, yes, there's a situation, but how does the situation come to be in the first place, right? And it's obvious. It's most situations and most challenges that happened, unfortunate challenges that happen to students when they first come to France or when they start living in France, is always because of decisions, or mostly because of decisions they made even before coming to France. Like I mentioned earlier, it's either because you blindly believe your consultants, who, again, you have to keep this in mind, who have not studied in France, who have not worked or even lived in France, right? Just taking a trip to France is not counted as living in France. And second, not all of us, and France being a new destination, the processes and procedures are very new to all of us students who are planning to actually study in France. The way I see it, all of us are the first generation of mass Indian students who are flying into France to study, and not all of us understand it completely. And because of that, we eventually go to consultants and we blindly believe that. This kid actually studied in a school which is based in Rouen and Reims, RIEMS and ROUEN. It's a very famous business school, and this business school is technically very famous for partnering with a lot of consultants. This school is also very famous for partnering with that one YouTuber who's from Germany who has never studied, worked, or lived in France. This kid obviously went through a consultant. He got his admission in the school in Rouen or Reims. I forget where he's currently, or he was then back then. What actually happened was his consultants technically applied for his visa. What he did not know was, or what they also did not know, the consultants did not know, was that they applied for the wrong visa. And he did not know this, they did not know this, no one ever informed him about this. He finally caught his plane, finally flew into France, started his classes, and within the first 3 months, you're technically supposed to apply for your OFI. During the OFI process, you need to send your address and you need to send them this one sheet, which is, stamped by the embassy and I think at the immigration. So finally he sent it, and finally when the OFI time came, they basically cancelled it and said this guy does not need an OFI. And this is exactly when he called me. And before he called me, he actually went to the school. The school said, there's nothing we can do. What you do is that you anyways only have like 7 to 8 months of class. After that, you need to do your internship. What you do is after the 7 months of class, you can actually go back home and then you can actually apply for a visa again. And there's a lot of money involved, and I don't think schools actually think this part through. And this is where he called me. And he called me, and it took like I think I spoke to him for 2 hours, 3 hours, because most of the time went in consoling him. The second part was to understand how this problem happened, and the third part is to find a strategy on how this situation could be salvaged and how he doesn't need to go back. Eventually, the situation became fine, one, because of the strategy we discussed upon, and the second time he went to the school, the school kind of helped him, or there was one particular lady who was very helpful. It's very hard to find helpful people in schools because they themselves don't know what are the procedures and processes that come with studying in France for international students. And it is for that reason I'm actually creating this video today, where I'm actually going to explain to you the different types of visas that come with studying in France, the different types of student visas that come or that you need to know about studying in France. The goal is very simple. If you understand these videos, I am pretty sure that you will never fall into such unfortunate situations like him. And eventually there was another student who was applying the following intake at my business school, and this situation even happened to him, so I was able to help him because of this particular situation. First, you need to understand that there are 3 types of visa. One is a short-term visa, one is the long-term student temporary visa, and the third one is the long-term student visa. First is a short-term visa. It's a visa of 3 months duration. Now the ideal student, so I had a friend who came for an exchange program which was less than 3 months in France. Now she was actually able to take up this 3 months short-term student visa. It's also the Schengen Visa with which you travel in France, right? Or travel across Europe. The duration of it is 3 months. You cannot technically apply for OFI, so that means you cannot apply for CAF. That means you cannot do a part-time job, and you will not be given a social security, but you can travel to all parts of France. Okay, so the ideal situation where you need this particular all parts of Europe basically. So the ideal situation where you need this particular visa is when basically if you're coming for an exchange program which is less than 3 months or max 3 months, or if you're planning to travel to France or Italy or the whole Schengen area, is the basic 3 months Schengen visa which you normally apply for. The second one was the visa his consultants, this particular student who actually applied for it, I was very unfortunate, and his consultants applied for this rather than the long-term permanent visa or the long-term student visa, and it's called this long-term student temporary visa. It's called as Vls-T, right? So there's a difference. The first one is 3 months Schengen visa. This is the Vls-T, which is the temporary student visa, temporary long-term student visa. The duration is between 7 to 12 months. Second, you cannot apply for an OFI. That means you cannot apply for CAF. That means you cannot do a part-time job, and which eventually means you cannot even apply for a renewal. But you can actually apply for Social Security, and you will definitely be a part of the Social Security system. The third one is the visa which all of you who are planning to do a master's or bachelor's or long-term programs, which all of you need to apply for, and it's the Vls-Ts, which is the long-term student visa. Now under this visa, the duration is basically for up till 1 year. It is renewable first. Second, you can travel all over the Schengen area. Third, you can apply for your OFI, which means you can apply for your CAF, which means also you can apply for a part-time job, and you will also be under, or you can also be a part of the social security system, which is part of France. Very simple. 3 types of visas. First is the Schengen 3-month visa, which is also the tourist visa, or also for small time or for exchange programs or education programs which are less than 3 months. Second is the is the student long-term temporary visa, which is the Vls-T, and the third one is the long-term visa, student visa, which is the Vls-Ts. Now, I hope you understand it. The information is all online, but it's just very simple, and I put it out very, very briefly and very accurately. Now that you understand the different types of visas that come with studying in France or living in France or even working in France, I have only one advice for all of you who are planning to study in France in the near future is that first, make sure you're applying for the right visa. And this is in case you have not applied for your visa and you're planning to apply for your visa in the near future. Second, if you've already applied for your visa and you've received it and you're planning to fly out to France soon, the advice is the same. Just take 2 minutes, open your passport, check out the visa, check out if it's the right visa which you need to actually study in France and eventually work in France. Third, if you're already in France and you've not applied for your OFI, well, first, again, just look at it, because there is a possibility you can salvage the situation even before your OFI is, let's say, OFI is rejected. Finally, if you're already in France and you have faced the situation, or you're facing the situation, or you know someone who's going to face the situation, basically, here's what you need to do. Just go up to the school, go up to the international coordinator, the person who deals with international students, and tell them that you have this particular problem, and this problem can be rectified by talking to the prefecture. All they need to do is actually email the prefecture, and the prefecture or the prefect, technically the prefect is above the prefecture, basically the prefecture's big boss. Just go and tell the international office, send an email saying that this is the wrong visa which is given to me by the VFS, and well, you need to change it. And you basically can speak or send an email to the prefecture or to the prefect, which is the big boss of the prefecture, and tell them that you need to rectify the situation. They will rectify it for you by giving you another appointment or a rendezvous, where you actually have to submit the same documents, show that you have money in your bank account, and they will give you a renewed or a new visa with which you can actually apply for an OFI. If you actually want to hear what happened to the student, like directly from the student who actually spoke to me about his situation and what he did, I've left 2 voice clips just after this so that you can hear about it, so that you're aware, and in this case you can actually help others or yourself or anyone who actually faces, any international student that particularly faces this situation.
Bro, the thing was, I came here with an exchange student visa, bro, not with the long-term student visa. So when I applied for this OFI, my OFI got rejected, and they told me that your visa is not in that standard to apply for this OFI, and you can't stay in France more than 6 months. So then I went to this in my college. There was this lady called Elizabeth. I spoke with her, and she said that she will check it with prefecture and let me know. Before that, she told me to send a mail to Indian embassy and check it out. So when I sent mail, bro, I didn't get any reply from the embassy. So in embassy, they didn't even help me out. So this from the prefecture, I got an appointment to go and meet with some person in the prefecture, and they checked with all my documents, and they told me, okay, we'll let you know as soon as possible. Then this Elizabeth, she got a mail, and she said that I need to, like, they will redo my visa again. So for that, I need to have 1,800 euros in my French bank account, and I need to submit my social security, and yeah, that's it, bro, that's it, and my all the other documents. So I submitted that, and they changed my visa and they gave me up, bro. So bro, if we come with any visa, bro, if we make any mistake in the visa, it's not an issue, bro. After we come up here, we just had to get an appointment with the prefecture, and the same procedure which we follow to renew our visa, right? We need to submit our bank documents and all the other student documents, all the other documents, like that we have to submit all the documents to them, and they will redo the visa and give. But for that, the college should help, bro. Without the help of the college, it's very hard to do it, bro.
With that, this is the end of the video. If you actually want to contact me, you can always click the link down below. If you actually like this video and you think it is helpful for you, just hit the like button so that I know it was actually helpful for all of you. Third, if you've actually faced this particular situation, I would actually love to hear your experiences, so please feel free to comment down below. If you have not faced this situation and you would actually like me to talk about a particular video, or you would like me to make a video about a particular topic, feel free to put it down below in the comments. Finally, follow me on Instagram at The Lost Indian. I shall see you next video. Peace.